Welcome back to whatever this is called, where two grown men who should absolutely know better spend an hour debating things that have zero impact on the world but feel deeply important to us personally. I am Scott Taylor, and as always, here joined by Mr. Steven Garcia. Steve, how you doing?
Fantastic, fantastic. I am ready to maybe ask some here or there questions or whatever. Yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. How about you? How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm ready for this week. We're gonna
Yes.
interview each other with the kind of pop culture hypotheticals that keep you awake at 2 a.m. At least if you're nerds like us. We're talking the one movie we wish we could experience for the first time again, then reboot. We'd personally authorize, who's going to do this reboot. The film we know well enough to wager actual toes against it. And yes, which beloved classic deserves the full Muppet conversion? It's part nostalgia, part psychological profile, part how are we like this? But let's get into it. Steve, I'm going to ask you one first.
Okay.
And I feel like this is a nice simple starter question. I've never done karaoke, but I know what my karaoke song would be. Have you done karaoke, and what would be your go-to and your backup?
Well, anything. I did karaoke years and years and years and years ago. What I found recently is that my karaoke go-to song is anything by the boss, Bruce Springsteen, and specifically Born to Run or Thunder Road. Those are my two go-tos. Yeah. And what was the second question?
Oh, it's just if you had a backup, if you needed a
Oh,
backup because someone took your first. So you gave me two. You gave me
yeah.
two
Okay.
two
All right.
Springsteens, two
All
Spruce
right.
Springsteens. We got two of them there.
Yeah. I've learned the hard way that I have to go to lower registered kind of type of songs. Yeah. Last one I did though was somebody wanted me to do what was it? Piano Man by Billy Joel. So
Mr. William Joel.
yeah, we had a karaoke.
See, you've been in bands, so it's maybe not that weird of a question for you because you've gotten up in front of
Well,
people and
yeah.
sung.
Well, I don't know if you can call what I did singing, but it was definitely like
Performance
more.
art.
Yeah, it was more passion than it was talent, but
Mm,
it definitely. Yeah, I was out of it. I played a show last year or last March, and we practiced once a week for about 6 weeks, 7 weeks up until because I had these new songs and I wanted to get rid of them actually, or just play them live.
mm.
And I wasn't really that nervous. And then the day of the show, I kind of got nervous. And then when I played with none of the. I was just so nervous that I just played. I didn't really do anything.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you've seen me. You saw the band when I was in band years ago. Like I used to jump around and do all this kind of stuff because I love being on stage. But yeah, I was. It was a different experience. So yeah.
See, I've never I've done live stuff. I've done a couple things of stand up, but I I've never done
Oh,
karaoke. I've never been the experienced karaoke. So I have to tell you what I think my song would be, and I've always said my song would be, and it's "Stay" by Lisa Loeb.
oh,
I feel like that's the one that you can hit. You can do flourishments on.
yeah,
You can get the crowd
yeah.
behind. They're all going to sing with you. I feel like that's a solid choice.
Okay, all right.
Also, little fact: know who directed that video?
Uh, Ethan Hawke.
Ethan Hawke. Yep, Ethan Hawke directed it.
Yeah, that's well, I think I knew it at the time, but I haven't really thought of that song in years. And probably about a month or two ago, I saw him on Instagram. The guy that does the on the street interviews in New York about like he gives them like a little like kind of like history. All right, what's this band? And he'll play it, and they'll be, oh, that's the Clash or whatever. You recently had Ethan Hawke on it, and the first song they showed him was "Stay," and he's like, oh, and you did the video, and I was like, oh, that's right, he did do the video, huh? I guess I remember that was the selling point really of the song. Not that it
I think.
needed a selling point, but
I think that's probably where I saw it too, where it came up for me. That I was like, oh, wait a second, he did that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Good to
Okay.
know. Bruce
Good.
Springsteen.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. What would you do? Would you want to watch your favorite show, your favorite artist? You go to their concert, you see their show, but and you get to go on tour with them, so you see every show, but you have to wipe their ass after they poop. Or would you rather eat what's under your fingernails every day for a week? What would you rather do?
Whew. I mean, that's a lot of poop to eat. I mean, I'm just thinking volume here. I don't know. I mean, and imagine if your favorite band is the that Trans-Siberian Orchestra. I mean, I don't think that's humanly possible, man.
Well, just the lead singer. The lead
Oh,
singer.
okay. So now I got to
Yeah.
think about. Uh, I I would not want to choose 1990s Blues Traveler. I yeah. So you know my favorite. So here's my thing. I go with favorite band Buffalo Tom, right?
Uh-huh.
Bill
Yeah, yeah.
Janovitz.
Yeah.
He seems like a pretty healthy dude. Like stuff would be pretty normal. Now, this also takes me back to the standard hypothetical of would you rather eat poop flavored candy or candy flavored poop? Right? Because one way you're eating something that's just
Candy.
fine, but it
Yeah.
tastes like poop, and the other thing is you're eating poop, but it tastes fine.
Yeah.
I don't think I get that much buildup under my fingernails. I mean, it would be great. I also worry about bills. I worry about, I'm off seeing this band. I could choose like puddles and that would be fine, but yeah, I think I'd go fingernails. I don't think it's worth it for you could
Yeah.
even say any band in history. I don't think
Yeah.
it'd be worth it.
You gotta wipe their butt. Yeah. Ugh. I couldn't do that. I would eat. I would just
What do
eat.
you what do you think Eddie Vedder's poop tastes like?
Well, he's relatively healthy. He says he's a vegetarian. He's been a vegetarian for like 30 years or something. And I think he just recently went back to eating meat, but really small amounts. So, yeah, I mean, hey, Steve, I'm done. Constantly hearing that. I don't do anything poop. I just don't do anything. That's probably why I don't have kids. It's because there's at some point, I don't know, maybe you can clarify, but all the people that have had kids around me in my friend circle, they say at one point or another you get poop in the mouth. Is this true, Scott?
I don't know if I ever got poop in the mouth.
Okay.
There were some major blowouts.
Yeah.
Right? Like just all the way up the back, and you're like, how did this even happen? I don't know. Like this
Yeah.
is physically possible.
How did
But
I?
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't think I got any in the mouth. I
Okay.
don't think I did.
Yeah. And I think that's probably part of the reason why the blowouts, it's like when you're changing and they pee or they poo instead of they pee. Because I've seen babies like pee while they're getting changed, but I've never seen them like, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
That
I
would
have
be a
trouble
tough one.
looking at my own poo.
yeah. I'm just picturing Eddie Vedder just walking out of the toilet and being like, "You're up, Steve."
Oh, jeez. All right. Well, that was my question. So,
All right, let's see what I can hit you with here.
okay.
I got a series of them here. Which one will we go with first? Let's go with you can greenlight one reboot, Steve. Right? One reboot, you think it's time for it in your heart of hearts. It can be TV, it can be movie. What gets rebooted and who's directing it?
One movie that gets rebooted and who's directing?
Yeah, movie, TV, opera.
Wow.
Because we've talked about reboots before, and
Yeah.
some that have worked out well and some that haven't. There's got to be
I would-
something out there.
I would want to see Buckaroo Banzai and Adventures Across the Eighth Dimension. I would want to see that redone by the late 80s, 90s version of Paul Verhoeven. That would be interesting to see, I think. just off top of the noggin. That would be really cool because I think that movie gets that movie is not on any lists. When people talk about Peter Weller, they talk about RoboCop and things before and things after. But that movie is so out of pocket, as the kids say these days, that to see that remade now for audiences, I mean, I guess I don't know if Paul Verhoeven is still doing movies, but you need somebody that can handle that outrageousness. And I guess, for me, he did Total Recall, he did Starship Troopers. You kind of get to this point where it's like you need some craziness. Have you ever seen that movie, Buggeroo Banzai?
No, I haven't. I've seen it referenced in like Ready Player One, but
Yeah.
I've never seen the actual movie.
So yeah, it's a really crazy movie. I've only seen it a handful of times myself, but each time I watch it, I'm like, how come I haven't watched this more? It kind of falls under like like you would think John Carpenter kind of did it, and it came out like, I don't know, like 84. It came out during all these blockbusters that were coming out. And this kind of went into I mean, it didn't do well in the theaters, but it's a crazy man. And Peter Weller is great in it. He plays this scientist, rock star, uh, uh, rocket ship pilot type of dude, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty crazy. Yeah. So that's my answer. How about you?
Nice.
What about you? Do you have one?
I think I have to go with third grade Scott's favorite, and that'd be Alf. I'd bring Alf back, and I recently was watching video short about why they can't bring Alf back and why it just never works when they do.
Uh-huh.
And it's because the creator of Alf is so dead set on people believing Alf is a real alien that it's so hard to put together a show. When he had the talk show, right? Remember they gave him a talk show for a little bit on like TV Land, I think it was.
Oh, actually, no, I don't remember that.
Yeah,
Oh,
he had
wow.
like a Johnny
Okay.
Carson Tonight Show talk show, very brief run. But the creator of Alf and the guy that Paul Fusco, I think it is,
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't want people to know it's a puppet. So there has to be like all these chambers for him to like go underground to get to other spots. They can't have the viewers sitting in the
Yeah.
studio audience actually see him as a puppet.
Yeah. Being put in a suitcase and going to his next gig. Yeah. I
Yeah,
get
they,
that.
they can't see him just flop down or anything like that. There's the deleted scenes from Alf, and there's this classic one about I think it was the Law and Order episode where the guy had Tourette syndrome,
Mm-hmm.
and you just see like Alf just talking to the co-actors while they're in between scenes, and he's just talking like a normal person, goofing around with them.
Yeah.
Oh, I botched that one. All right, let's do it again. But the guy doesn't stop moving his hand,
Right.
from making him talk. He actually is making him talk and look around.
Uh-huh.
So I would go Alf. I think if it wasn't for that, I think Alf could be worked into so many things nowadays. The nostalgia is there. This guy that brought an Alf doll with him to school every day. A bully threw it on the roof at one point, and the janitor had to go get it. Every day, I loved Alf. Multiple Alf posters in my room.
Did you ever have a
I would go-
cartoon?
Alf had a cartoon, yeah. It was multiple seasons. I forget when it ended, but it was great, and it was the animation was pretty good for back then, and it was a good story. It showed like his time on Melmac
What
and
channel?
with other. Oh man, it was a Saturday morning cartoon, so I
Yeah.
don't remember if it was which of the big
Okay.
three it was. But yeah, it was a Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about the big three in Saturday morning cartoons a couple days ago. 'Cause I was thinking now college football is like from 7 a.m. if you wanted to do all like the pregame shows and stuff, 7 a.m. to like 10 p.m. on Saturdays. And now there's more channels, so they're spread across. But if you go to like the big three, like it's basically college football, a news program, and then some more college football. It's just, and when we were kids, or I think at least when I was a kid, I think they were kind of phasing that out in '93, but you could watch cartoons from 7 a.m. to like 11 a.m. And then that was it. That was that time chunk. And then you went out and started your day, or you started it whenever your favorite cartoon was over. Because I knew kids that were just like, I just watched this, and that's it. And I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
but you knew your routine. You knew you go
yeah,
to channel 3 for, 8 to 8:30, then
yeah,
you're going to switch for an hour and you
yeah,
come channel 3.
yeah. Because there were cartoons that you loved, and so you would, like you said, change the channel here. All right, let's go to NBC and watch this. Because let's see. Because for me, the newer cartoons were earlier, I think. So Dungeons and Dragons. I remember that was like 8:30, 9 o'clock, somewhere around there. And then at 10, so you had the later block at like 10 was like ABC had the Bugs Bunny Roadrunner show. And that was like an hour, I think, right? Or maybe because they had just all sorts of cartoons in that one.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but you had it was just, I just remember like superheroes. I think that was on later too. So on ABC. And maybe Bugs Bunny was a half hour, but it was just like, yeah, you had all the Dungeons and Dragons was on CBS. Rubik the Amazing Cube was on ABC, and then you had Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends on NBC. So yeah, it was crazy.
Didn't know when you were, so you're like, 5 years younger or something like that. What were there cartoons on when you got home from school? Like, what were the cartoons on after school?
After school, there was, well, in Sacramento, it was Thundercats, GI Joe, Transformers, and Voltron. Those were the 4 cartoons that I watched. So it was usually GI Joe, Transformers, Thundercats, and then Voltron. Those were the 4 that I watched. Can't remember anything else that was after that, because I know that Voltron would stop and then it would come back. And I can't remember what was in when they stopped. I don't know what cartoon they put. I don't know if it was reruns of Voltron, maybe. I don't know, but I remember those were the 4 that I watched. How about you?
Big was Ninja Turtles.
Oh,
Ninja Turtles,
see, yeah.
was my jam for a long time. But Ninja Turtles were after school every day. And I want to say a big part of it was the Disney ones. Disney got that block of shows that was just the sweet spot once they were on cable. So there was Darkwing Duck, there was Tailspin, there was Gummy Bears. You had that chunk of cartoons after school.
The interesting part was when I moved back to Healdsburg. In the morning, it was Transformers, GI Joe Transformers, and then I had to go to school. So I don't know what came after that. And then after school, when I came, it was all of that. It was DuckTales. It was, I think, Darkwing Duck and all that. And then it was Alvin and the Chipmunks was after school too when I moved to Healdsburg. But it was only a couple of years or not even a couple. It was probably like maybe a half a year. And then I realized that I could ride my bike around town, which was another whole different story, which was very naive. I was a very naive kid, but I would just come home and watch, like the cartoons or whatever. And I wouldn't really get into it because I see DuckTales and Alvin and the Chipmunks now, and I'm like, I don't remember any of this. I just remember the intros. You remember the intros, but yeah, I wasn't really into this. This is when I was that's like 7th, 8th grade. So that's when I started kind of leaving home a lot. So, yeah.
Did you watch TV at all before school?
Yeah. The only thing I would watch was GI Joe and Transformers for start, but I'd only get the beginning of Transformers because I'd have to go to school. So it was mostly just GI Joe. And by the time GI Joe was over, I had to have, because I would get up at 7 and have to leave the house by 7:30. So I would get up, take a quick shower, and then eat, and then I'm out. So I would watch a little bit of GI Joe, like probably the last part of GI Joe. But that was the reverse of Sacramento, where it's in Sacramento, I'd get home and I would watch GI Joe and Transformers. So it was. What did you watch before?
The only thing I remember consistently watching before was Bozo the Clown.
Oh.
And I don't know which iteration of Bozo it was because I know there were, multiple kind of Bozos around, I believe. So I don't know out of which major broadcast area it came from, and I don't think they were new at that point. I think they were reruns. But one of our like side channels, not your big three, it had Bozo on in the morning, and that's what I would do. I'd get up, I'd sit on the couch and watch Bozo.
Yeah, I think when I was a kid, and I would come to my grandma's for summer, I remember watching in the mornings. There was Romper Room was on, I think, at 9. But before, like, I'd get up at 7 or something, as a little kid. And I would watch Sesame Street, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and I'd watch The Electric Company. Do you remember that one? Did you
Oh
ever see
yeah,
that one? Okay.
yep.
So I'd watch those 3 things, and then there would be some science thing after that. And sometimes I would watch it, sometimes it wasn't. But and then I would turn it to channel 2, the local station, which is now Fox 2. But back then it was an independent station, so it was just for the Bay Area. And I would watch Romper Room, which would be out of like Oakland, I think it was. And they had Miss Nancy, and then they would have this other. Do you remember anything from Romper Room? Did you ever watch Romper Room?
I remember what Romper Room was, but I don't
Yeah.
remember watching it at all.
Yeah, I think every independent station across the country, or the bigger ones, I guess, had their own version of Romper Room, and the person who did it was like Miss So and So, and ours was Miss Nancy, and yeah, and it was always very It was the segments were the same, and then at the end she would let's look into our magic thing. I see Steven. I see Scott. Ooh, I see. She would name all these names.
And you're like, how does she have these magical powers?
And then after that, they always had this like show. I can't remember what it was. Oh, I think maybe it was Romper Room. They would have these things of like, maybe like these, like Big Bird type of puppet things where there was somebody inside, and they would be out and about, and they would do like a special song. And I remember I looked this up because I remember it from a kid of like choo choo yum, what you gonna eat today? Just things like that. But then they would have these segments of. You remember when Mike Myers used to do the, well, my name is.
Yeah.
You know
Simon,
that one?
yeah, in the
Do you
bathtub.
remember the real
Cheeky.
cartoon?
No.
It's based on that. It's based on this cartoon, and in the cartoon, he would draw, like he would sneak away from his house, and he would draw on this fence, and then it would come alive. He could go in, and the song was because the Saturday Night Live one was, well, my name is Simon, and I like to do drawings. Well, in this one it was, well, my name is Simon, and the things I draw come true. Will the picture take me over, climb the ladder with you? Because he would also climb over to get to this area and draw on the fence. So that's where he got it. And I remember like thinking, oh, it's from the Romper Room cartoon. People would be like, what? I'm like, oh, okay, maybe people don't remember. But yeah.
Sounds to me like Simon's parents need to be investigated by CPS.
I know, huh?
I mean, a kid that age shouldn't be climbing a ladder over a fence. First of all, where's he getting the ladder? Why is the garage locked up? There could be other dangerous stuff in there.
But yeah, that was on from Romper Room. I think it was from Romper Room. It was around the same time, so I don't know if I'm just thinking of those two together, but yeah, you can find it on YouTube if you look for it.
Well, let's stay on the children's topic here. Then I'll throw another one at you.
Okay.
So this one is I'm a huge Muppet fan, right? A huge Muppet fan. What Muppet adaptation of a non-Muppet movie needs to be made? Like what's sitting out there that you could say, yeah, this would be a great Muppet movie to be remade with Muppets. One of the scenarios where there's one human, right? And then everybody else is Muppets.
It's Heat.
So
Like a
who's gonna?
movie that's violent and not very Muppet-like. Just have Muppets doing it. Have Muppets with Pacino and De Niro at a table talking about shit. Well,
So
there's a
who's gonna play Pacino? Is that Kermit?
Oh, Kermit. Okay, yeah, that's right.
Are we
Okay,
talking Kermit would be
yeah,
Pacino,
he would do
or is
Kermit.
Pacino gonna
Kermit.
be Pacino?
Yeah,
Is
that's what I
Pacino
was
gonna be
thinking
the
of.
one
Like you would
person?
have
Okay.
these puppets that look like them, but to do the Muppet ones, he
Yeah,
could do
one person could
Kermit.
be human in there. So
Yeah.
would Pacino still be the human, and you have all the Muppets around Pacino? Because that'd be kind of
No, I would
interesting.
have. I would have. Who would I have? I would have Pacino's partner, because Pacino's the cop. Have his partner Michael T. Williamson, who was Bubba in Forrest Gump. Have him be the have him be the human, and have him walk around with Kermit. Kermit's like, brother, or whatever. However, Kermit sounds. Brother, you're going down. Or I can't do a Kermit, but have Kermit, and then have I would have Fozzie Bear do De Niro, who's the criminal, and have Kermit looking for Fozzie or chasing Fozzie the whole movie. That'd be sweet.
I mean, yeah, you got Pacino yelling at Gonzo.
Yeah.
You get
What do you got? What do you got?
you get De Niro whisper acting at Kermit.
Oh man, can you imagine? Like that would just be funny, man. And have the drama of the real movie be. You just could. That's impossible. You just would have to. You'd have to laugh because you have these Muppets being like, Kermit pointing, stolen from Fresno 2 days ago. All right, what's this guy? He's got 3 shots to the chest, point blank range, and no cash was stolen, only bearer bonds, $1.6 million. I couldn't imagine that. That's awesome. How about you, man? What would you Muppetize?
I've got a couple options. The easy one, the safe one, is Princess Bride. Right?
Oh,
You get probably Wesley stays human. But it's already a fairy tale lore. You got iconic characters. It's quotable. You've got lots of different vignettes to it, right? Lots of different people. So you could work in all the Muppets into that. But I'd like to say something like maybe The Thing, right? Like
and
McCready
have the
stays
dog
human.
just be the real dog.
You get McCready stays human, or Seven.
McCready, yeah.
Or you could do Seven, right? You could do Morgan Freeman is the only human, and then everyone else in Seven is a Muppet.
Now, when you thinking of these, are you keeping the drama and the suspense of the real movie, or are you just making it lighthearted? With the
You're
Muppets?
gonna have to make it's gonna be a Muppet movie, so it's gonna have to tweak itself a little bit.
Oh man,
What's in the box? Maybe Fozzie is the Kevin Spacey of it. Kermit's, of course, Brad Pitt. I mean, you have to go Kermit there.
Yeah.
And you got, Miss Piggy's head is going to be in the box.
What's in the box?
But maybe he goes, what's in the box? And he opens Fozzie was Kevin Spacey, and maybe he opens the box and he pulls out a rubber chicken. And then he just goes, no, the other box. And then he pulls out Miss Piggy's head from it.
Dude, I would love to see all of these versions. Heat. 7. What was the first one you said again?
Princess Bride.
Princess Bride. That would be perfect, actually. I would definitely watch that one. Like, I would probably be entertained, and it would be good. The Thing, though, that's a really good one too.
Yeah, that'd be a fun one.
I like yours better than mine. Keep going with yours, dude.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah.
So you, let's see. Let's get you another option here. A lot of it is movie based. It's a lot of movie stuff.
Okay.
Okay, you can force one actor to return to a role that they swore they'd never play again. Who are you dragging back? Or hasn't played in a long time. Maybe they didn't swear it off, but they just haven't done it in a long time.
Well, you had what was that? Let's see. Think. So Daniel Day Lewis did come back for his son's movie, and he hadn't made anything since 2016. I think was the last movie. But I could take it or leave it with that guy. I mean, he's a great actor, but not one that I'm always championing to see.
And you're not going to say Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford, because he has come back and it hasn't met the mark.
I would say I would want to see maybe an older Joe Pesci. And I think he was in The Irishman, which came out, I think, 5 years ago. And he came out of retirement for that. But I'd like to see him play something like an older gangster or whatever he was, like an older version of maybe one of his. Oh, well, this is impossible because his characters get killed in Casino, but like an older version of like a head mafia gang head or something, Pesci or let's see, somebody just announced their retirement this time. Oh, fuck, my old man brain. I just read it this morning or last night maybe.
Millie Bobby Brown, isn't it?
No, it was. He's said he had no interest. Oh, it was the guy that did the CSI New York, not New York, but William Peterson. He was in like To Live and Die in L.A. He was in some CSI stuff. I think he was in the original CSI, like the one that kicked it off. William Peterson. Yeah, he said he's not. He's retiring from acting. He's not really interested in acting anymore. I'd want to see him in more stuff, man, because he was really good. I liked him. Yeah, I would probably say Pesci though. I'm gonna go with Pesci, Joe Pesci. Just come out of retirement. Just do a couple like cool. I can understand why they've retired. I think De Niro, for as much as I love De Niro, I think De Niro needs not to retire, not because I'm tired of him or anything, but just because he deserves to like enjoy his life. At some point, you've given us all this great material, like yeah, pop up at your film festival, pop up, at an opening or something, just keeping that light. But the De Niro that I love is the one that gets in shape for the role or transforms some way into the role and like lives it and breathes it and this method acting type of shit that he used to do. Now it's just, he just shows up and a little bit. That's my De Niro impression. And I think it's just kind of like, okay, dude, like, I don't know. So yeah, I would say Pesci. That's my long-winded answer.
See, I think I would, and this might be a little self-serving, but I think it could turn into something really fun and entertaining and beautiful. I'd like to see Steve Martin return to Nathan Johnson in The Jerk. I'd like to see him because he, wrote it, right? So
yeah.
he's got it in him to write a great story like that, great humor, innocent ignorance is what I define it as, right? And I'd love to see Nathan Johnson at Steve Martin's age, like a retired Nathan Johnson, and you can get to what he did with his life.
Yeah.
You can do some flashbacks, but you can also have just him navigating the world as it is. And maybe it's a road trip story, who knows what it is, but it's just that innocence of Nathan Johnson.
You want to know a little secret is that I've never seen that movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I think, please tell me that you will not watch it until I can watch it with you in the same room.
All right.
Because, and we can do it for Gonna See My Friends, because you're gonna have to rewind it because you're gonna miss stuff because you're gonna be laughing so hard. I can just tell.
See, that's the thing. I watched just to bring this up, just as an aside, I watched Naked Gun reboot one, And there's that scene you were talking about. You're saying, "Oh, there's a scene in there that it's gonna make you laugh. I guarantee it," and it did. But I feel like, um, that's the thing with me in comedies lately, man. Is that I don't know what it is. I think that part of me has died. But it's just more of um, that's why I haven't really gone back and seen it, is because like Cheech and Chong's Up in Smoke, their first movie. Like I remember seeing that probably in 86, 87. Wasn't even 10 years old yet, and thinking like, and just laughing my ass off in that movie. A lot of it was probably because I was stoned too watching it, but another part was that I was young and I got it. That's what the fear is with going back and seeing that, is that like, it's to me and to everybody that has seen it, they hold it in such high regard that if I go back now and watch it as a 51-year-old, it's like, is it really going to hold up? Because I watched Up in Smoke and there's still funny parts in it that I remember laughing at. But right now I'm like, cool.
And,
Yeah,
I,
that's
and,
funny.
and I think
So that's my fear.
sometimes there's the comedy of punching down, a little bit, where it's like, I hate, the early Adam Sandler stuff is like, oh, it's dumb frat boy kind of,
Yeah.
teenage humor stuff. With The Jerk, it's definitely elevated. It's subtle. It's written really well because it's Steve Martin.
Yeah.
And you don't have all these other people just with their hands in it. I'm excited to bring the DVD over sometime and just sit and watch it with you and order a pizza.
Oh yeah. All right. That's a date, man. I'll do it. But it's like, Blazing Saddles to me. Like when we went and saw that with the double feature, Colt, whatever it was. Like a lot of it was still humorous and light and joyful, because like as you said before, it's like they're kind of punching up, or in a way. But I remember being like, man, I'm not young anymore. I don't find this. I mean, when I saw it when I was younger, it was a lot more, and this is a personal thing. It's probably just more me, but it's like this thing of like, I wish I found this funny again. I mean, it's still funny, but it's like I don't have that that type of laugh. Like I remember watching Burn After Reading. Have you ever seen that movie? Coen Brothers movie. That movie I saw in the movie theater when it came out, and I think it was like 08, 09, somewhere around there. And I remember laughing out loud in that movie, and the whole crowd was laughing. Like it wasn't packed, but there was a lot of people in the movie theater, and everybody was we were all laughing at some of the parts in that. And then I've watched it since then, and I'm like, because I was waiting for the moment where he makes the chair and he shows the girl the chair. Whoop, whoop. That part like made me laugh hard, and then since then it's been like, oh, cool, yeah, I remember laughing at that. Yeah, it's just so weird, because do you experience that, or is it just me? Where you're like, yeah, go ahead.
I think, yes, I think you're spot on. I don't think you're alone. I think there's a half-life on comedy.
Yeah.
And the more you watch the same thing, the less funny it gets. And some people say, I could watch that 1,000,000 times. And it's like, no, you couldn't. You couldn't sit there and watch it 1,000,000 times. You could have it in the background 1,000,000 times, but you couldn't sit there and actually focus on it.
Yeah.
Or you could fast forward to a couple scenes and, be like, this is really good.
But
I think it's truly about, the half-life of it. So if you can find things you haven't seen that can make you feel that way. So I don't think it's that you're incapable of feeling that way. I think it's just you need to find this. Like going back to Blazing Saddles, you've seen Blazing Saddles. Know he's going to punch a horse, and it's funny and you're going to laugh. And part of you is laughing because it's funny, and part of you is laughing because you should laugh at it because you have laughed at it before.
Yeah.
So I think you just have to find the right thing. Like the Naked Gun reboot, you laughed a couple times, right? At least in there.
Yeah.
So you just got to find those moments there, and you're probably never going to watch that reboot again. It's just a one-time thing. It's
Yeah.
we're at the stage of our life where new movies, yeah, probably not going to watch it again. Maybe one more time,
Yeah.
Superman or Deadpool or
Yeah.
something like that. Might throw it on a couple times, but it's not going to have staying power.
Well, that's the thing is like a movie like Airplane. I watch a lot of YouTube reactions to that, and they're watching it for the first time, and they're like, I've heard of it, I just never seen it, and they're laughing at all the places that you're supposed to laugh, like 99% of them, you know. And I watch that movie now, and I'm like, yeah, I remember this movie. I remember Airplane 2, which doesn't get the same love because it wasn't made by the same people, but there's a part in that with William Shatner where he's lunar base commander or whatever. Have you ever seen part 2? Oh,
It's been a long time.
yeah, there's a part where they're opening the door. Shh, 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 like every time it opens and closes. And there's just this funny part in it on the lunar base. It's toward the end of the movie. And it's like that still gets a little chuckle out of me because I remember dying laughing when he's talking to William Shatner through the screen, and he's like, William Shatner's like, you better alert the tower. And the guy goes, sir, we have no tower. What? And then he just ends up opening the door and coming out from behind the screen and like, what do you mean we don't have a tower? And I remember me and my cousin watching that, and we would just rewind it because we were laughing so hard we were crying. And that's still like, even that scene, and it's just a bunch of like, sir, we've found these lights are blinking out of sequence. Because, well, get them to blink in sequence. Just these little things that we just kept laughing. That when I watch it now, I still chuckle a little bit. Mm-hmm. That's still like, oh, like that kind of laughing. And that's, I kind of, yeah, I guess I just want to laugh again like that, like at a movie and have it genuine, So that's, we kind of went on a rant here, but that's kind of like what I stay away from comedies now because I'm like, I'm just not going to laugh at it. And I want to enjoy it. But it's neither here nor there, I suppose. But
I stay away from comedies now mainly because my wife is not into comedies anymore. It's like there was a time and a place for it, and she's
I
like,
sound like your wife then, because that's just kind of how I feel.
Just not into the comedy scene anymore and that stuff. So I get it.
But because
I want to see on my own. But there's also not a lot of comedies that come out.
Yeah,
anymore.
That's true. That's true.
They're the ones that go on straight to streaming or whatever. But full press. Sports reference there, full press, or I guess dry cleaning reference. They don't make them anymore where it's out in the theater. Like Naked Gun reboot was the first one in a long time.
Yeah, that's what they said. But like a lot of reviews, a lot of people that loved it were saying that, oh, we don't see these kind of comedies anymore. They don't make these comedies, these high budget comedies anymore. And I was like, oh, yeah, they don't, huh? And I think it's just, maybe it's a reflection of our society because I think back in like the Airplane, Naked Gun days of the early 80s to mid 80s, or just 80s maybe in general, you had this thing where, I don't know, there was a lot of things. I feel like it's nowhere near how it is now, but I feel like there's a lot of times where comedy was needed, so to speak, and there was a place for it, and you had, so then people would make it and they would go out to the theater to watch it. Where I think now the model is we'll release it to the theaters for a few weeks and then we'll go to streaming. And I think now more than ever we kind of need more comedies. So
I think this is a scenario where video killed the radio star, and I feel that originally when we were kids, you had TV and you could laugh at TV and then you could go to the movies and laugh, right? Like you had that. Now you've got these little clips that I laugh out loud at these little clips on my phone. Little stupid clips that are 15 seconds long, and either it's someone getting hit in the nuts, an animal failing a jump, or it's someone that's actually put together a solid comedic clip. and acted it out. So we get that humor now, and it's like, well, why am I going to go to the movies to see that?
Yeah, that's
I can
true.
get it super quick right now. I'm getting my quota of laughter.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Never thought of it like
You know,
that. Yeah, that's true.
with us, it was you went to the movies on the weekend, and you're like, okay, do we want to see the horror movie? Do we want to see the comedy? Do we want to see the drama, or do we want to see the animated movie, the kids movie? And
Yeah.
that was your choice. And it's like, and you might have two of each out at a time, but that was overlapping as they were released. That's just not there. How often do you sit down and be like, what should I watch tonight? And my wife kills me for it, just flipping through and be like, well, let's watch a movie. And
Uh-huh.
45 minutes later, I still haven't
Yeah.
chosen anything. And I'm like, well, what was that first one we looked at? I don't even remember what the first one was that we looked at.
Well, that was interesting because we did The Exorcist on Going to See My Friend's podcast a couple weeks ago, and I recall naming in the decade of the 70s all the Best Picture nominees, and it was just a who's who of like it was Murderer's Row. It was just like they had 5 Best Picture nominees each year, and 3 to 4 of them are classic movies that today have this kind of gold star standard that we kind of hold newer movies to now. But it was like every year it was just a hit after hit, movies that you still talk about. And it kind of depressed me because I was thinking like, oh, we'll never get to that again. That's never going to happen again. And even in the 80s and 90s, there still had these movies that today are still well known. And like in the last 10 years, you could probably, maybe a handful of movies that were like, you got to go see this one. This one's going to be around forever. It just doesn't happen as much now. And I remember back in like the late kind of the aughts, I don't know what you call them, the O's. TV kind of took over with Mad Men and Breaking Bad. Kind of came out of the gate, and everybody's going to TV now for the writing and for like cinema quality stuff. I feel like it has to come back the other way. I think everything has its time and place, and then it swings back the other way. And I think we're on the opposite end of that spectrum of now is just we're trying to figure out what's happening with the theater experience and the movies and all this. And I feel like it has to swing back at some point, So yeah, I don't know how, because like, as you said, everybody is, it's like, the phone and, oh yeah, I get my little dopamine hit in my phone now. I don't need the big thing, but I miss the big thing, so.
Yeah, and I don't think it's people going, I don't have the money for the movies, or people always say movies are so expensive and the popcorn, and it's like, it's not, yeah, if you've got a family of 4, it's pretty pricey.
Yeah.
Right. But you can also wait for movies to get, second run and that sort of thing and find a matinee. But there's not a lot of movies that draw people to that anymore because they're just like, yeah, I got my phone or my kid can watch Disney Plus. We already paid $20 a month for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
They can just watch whatever they want on Disney Plus and we'll wait for it to come out. At some point, though, I do think, like you said, the pendulum has to swing and it's going to go from it's already on its way back, I think, because they're making so many things and pushing so many things in front of your face. And I think they're already, after COVID, they were like, oh man, people are going back to work. They're not sitting around anymore. Okay, we can't have all these different studios and things. So now they're scrunching it back up again.
Yeah. Sorry. Jesus. Did you hear that? Jesus.
I did. I'd give it, it's like a 4 out of 10.
Yeah, it wasn't that big. Yeah, I think that's, I think that, growing up the way we did was that you had, like you said, you had these choices of, you would go to a movie theater and you would have like 7, 8 choices of what movie to see. And for me, I went and saw Deliver Me From Nowhere like last Friday, the Springsteen movie. And the part of it is pricing. Part of it for me is like, well, the matinees are still $14. And today that's fine because people are making a little bit more. They can afford it.
Mhm.
But and then I paid for popcorn and a Coke and Milk Duds. And my Milk Duds, right when I sat down, I already opened them and was eating them, and they all fell on the floor. And I was like, 3 second rule. Okay, majority of them were gone. Anyway, so I think part of it is this thing of, and then I saw people blaming George Lucas, like when he did the re-releases in the late '90s of his movies, he demanded a percentage of the concession, and so now not only are they splitting the fees with the theater owners, but they're splitting the fees in concession when that movie is being shown. And it's like, wow, if that like, back in the day, people were like merchandising. George Lucas, like, how did you even think of that? Like, no one
Mhm.
thought about merchandising back in Star Wars, and now I feel like they're just always thinking of other ways. How much can we dig? And so I feel like this consolidation with all the movie studios, it's I have to do a deep dive on it because I know that they're consolidating, but it's I don't know. It just feels like it's always the consumer that kind of gets screwed in these kind of things. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, lighter
The
fare.
so if you go back to 40 years ago, right? This weekend 40 years ago,
Yeah,
in the theater, knew you had Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. You had Death Wish 3, and you had To Live and Die in LA. And then recent movies that still had a good pull that probably were still in the theater playing widely: Commando, Silver Bullet, Remo Williams, The Adventure Begins, Better Off Dead, comedy. So you got your comedy option
yeah,
there.
yeah.
And then Jagged Edge with Glenn Close and Jeff Bridges, the
Jeff
thriller.
Bridges. Yeah,
And then you still had movies hanging on from the summer that maybe Back to the Future, Goonies, and St. Elmo's Fire. So you had a comedy, you had some horror because of course it's Halloween time, a strong action list there because action was big in the 80s. That's what
hmm
people wanted to see. But you had your options. You were able to go out and you were like, I want to laugh this weekend, and here's what I'm going to see. I want to, see explosions. This is what I want to see. I want to get scared. This is what I want to see. So you had those options every week that you were able to pick and go see.
and the thing is that Back to the Future, which is out in theaters at airport this weekend. Back to the Future, I believe, was number one in the theaters for I think 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks. I don't remember the exact weeks. 6 to 8 weeks was number one. Like you don't see that type of thing anymore. You see it number one, and then the next week it falls. Maybe 2 weeks they have it, but and the only reason it got toppled was Spielberg re-released E.T. into theaters. That was the only reason why Back to the Future got knocked off at number one. And you don't really see that anymore. I mean, you see it Back to the Future now, but it's for celebratory. It's for 40-year anniversary. But you don't really generally see a movie being re-released and making a lot of money. There was one that just got re-released, and it made a shit ton of money. I can't remember what it was, but it was like this summer or something. Damn it, I can't remember. Old man brain. But yeah, I mean, I think to your point, just so much variety in the movies back then because it was kind of like the big three. Back in the
Mhm.
day, you only had three channels to watch anything. So, of course, those programs on those channels got huge numbers because your choices were limited. And now again, like you said, it's you have all these external things that you could watch that people aren't driven to movies anymore. And God, that was such a great time. It was.
Mhm.
We're lucky to have those times. I think you and me, to be able to go to the movies and go, okay, what do I want to watch today? Because I remember my cousin took me. I wanted to go see Explorers, which came out in I think '85, and he was like, okay. And so his dad dropped us off, and he looks at me and he goes, "We're gonna go see Breakfast Club instead." And I'm like, "Breakfast Club? What the hell is that?" And we went and saw the Breakfast Club. And I was like, but you had those choices: you had Breakfast Club, the Explorers, whatever else was. So you had Joe Dante or John Hughes, which the tours of their day. So yeah, it was a great time to be a kid.
My friend's mom was like, "Oh yeah, I'll take you guys to the movies," and I thought we were gonna go see Aristocats, but she took us to see Scrooged because she was like, I don't want to see the Aristocats.
Yeah.
I figured, oh, she's taking us. We're like, third graders. She's taking us
Hmm.
to the movies. We're gonna go see, Aristocats. That's the only thing that's out right now.
Yeah.
Nope, we saw Scrooged, so I get it.
Yeah.
Well, we've done a lot of. Oh,
Yeah,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. Go,
I was
no,
gonna
no,
say
you go
we. I
ahead.
was gonna say we've done a lot of tangents here this week.
Yeah.
Which is good. We've had some good conversation, and so let us know. Do you strongly agree, disagree? Did you scream "How dare you" at any of the choices we made during our questions or our side conversations? Comment on our Instagram. Jump into our YouTube comments. Just yell it into your steering wheel because you're probably listening while you're driving, anyways. But tell us your reboot picks. Tell us your which film deserves the Muppet treatment. Tell us, would you eat your favorite band's poop? We're happy to hear all of it. And we'll be back next week with some more whatever this is called, some more deeply unnecessary conversations that matter to absolutely nobody except us and hopefully you. Thanks for hanging out. We love you. And remember, we're not mad, we're just disappointed. We'll see you next time.